So the question comes up from time to time, is it possible to be too old to start learning the guitar? And when this comes up, most people say, no, you can learn at any age, and that's true. We don't disagree with that. But I think there's more to the question than just that sort of simple statement. I think the question really is, how much am I going to have to invest in order to get from having a guitar to actually being able to make pleasant sounds come out of the guitar? And that, I think, is extremely fair. Now, if you're just starting a YouTube type journey to learning the guitar, it can be super overwhelming. We have marvelous guitar players. They've been playing the guitar maybe forever. They do things by reflex that we just sort of don't need when you're starting out. So I'm going to take a little challenge here, and I'm going to try to make it so that if somebody puts in 10 days, just 10 minutes a day, you'll be able to make pleasant sounds come out of your guitar, even though today maybe the best you can do is get it close to being in tune and maybe know how to hold it. Now, we're not going to do a lot of theory. We're not going to talk about a lot of fancy stuff. We're going to divide the problem into really two bits. The first bit, in order to make pleasant sounds from the guitar, we typically need a song. Songs people recognize, they're going to sound good. So we know everything about them is good. We just have to learn one in a way that's going to make sense. The one I've chosen for this is Link Wray's Rumble. Fabulous song, shows up in tons of movies. Everybody's heard it. And what we're going to use that for is first to learn the form of the song so we know things that sound good. And then the second part of it is we're going to make it sound better by doing the harmony and the harmonization, which is going to teach us some very basic chords. So let's just start it off. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Let me know what you think of this. See if we can make progress with just 10 minutes a day for 10 days. And in fact, I'll tell you a secret. I suspect most folks are going to be able to pull this off in 5 days or less. This is a very straightforward seeming song, but there's so much more to it if you want to go further with it. So Link Wray's song, Rumble, it's basically going to be on 2 strings to get the song formed from it. And for that purpose, we're just going to learn how to name the strings. The first string, the lowest string, the one closest to your knee, that's going to be string 1. The one at the top is string 6. And we're going to worry about strings 5 and 6, so just these 2 strings. And we're going to worry about the notes that are on the 5th fret and the 7th fret to start. We're going to add a little to it, but to start. And so the song has a very simple pattern. We're not going to worry about the timing of it, just how the notes come together. We're going to start on that 5th string, 5th fret, and we hit the note twice. Okay? And this is then followed immediately by another note. This one's going to be on the 7th fret. Okay, so we just repeat that pattern. And then we just take a break. Now the first note's at D. We're going to focus a lot on D, so it's good to remember that one's D. And by skipping 1 fret, the next note up is an E. So we start out D, D, E. Okay, do that twice. And then we do the 2 D notes, but then we go to the A note. And the A note is just on the 5th fret of the 6th string. Now you notice I'm not putting much effort into the timing other than that the 3 notes come in and then we take a little break. But that's getting us most of the way through the song form. There's one more part to it. We do the D-E combination again. Then we go D, D, and then to a B note. Okay? And that's our song form. Now I've tabbed this out so you get a really quick idea of how this comes together, so you can watch it on the screen as well. But all we're really doing through the major part of the song, there is some extra little bits, is we just go D, D, and then another note. So D, D, E, D, D, E, D, D, A, D, D, E, D, D, E. That's the song. We now know what this is supposed to sound like. We have the song form down. Not every bit of it. There's some extra things that come in that make it more interesting, and we'll get to those, or at least some of them. But we now start seeing how the song is supposed to go. I'm not going to worry about the timing for a moment, just the notes. But we might say to ourselves, just listening to the notes, that it's not very exciting. This isn't very fat. It doesn't sound very good. And you're right. We need to add a little something to it, and the guitar is wonderful for it. It's called harmony. We want to add a couple of notes together. So the first thing we're going to look at is what's called a power chord. And a power chord is a note and then another note that is 5 notes away from it. And we're not going to worry about anything more than just that as a definition. On the guitar, it's just a shape. So I can take that D note and I can add its 5th. It's always going to be located 1 string down and 2 frets across. We already hear it sounds a little better. A very much nicer sound just by hitting a couple of strings. Now that's not the full exploration of harmony. We're just harmonying with the 5th. We could harmonize with the 3rd as well. And the problem though for us is for any given starting note that we wanted to work with, the 3rd and the 5th are on the same string. So to include them both, we have to do a little more. But we're still going to work on our song form for a second, but we're getting the idea. We can add to it very, very simply and make things work a lot nicer. So let's come back to our song form just on one note. We know how it goes. It goes D, D, an addition to it. It's a pentatonic scale, so it sounds fancy, but all it really says is we're going to run a series of notes that are very, very simple to find. We're going to start on the number 1 string. We're going to go to the 3rd fret, hit that note, take our finger off, hit the same string again. We do the same thing to the B string. And then we're going to come to the 2nd fret of the G string. So you can see the pattern. I didn't talk through it, but we're just walking down that particular set of notes. It's the E minor pentatonic, and that ties in very, very nicely to the song we're doing. So we have a very, very nice sequence of notes that we can add to our notes. Now, that rundown seems complicated. Don't let that bother you yet. It's going to stay, even though we will expand the harmony of the first set of notes. We're going to keep that little pentatonic run just because it sounds so good. So we've now got our basic song form. We've got the 4 notes that sit up top. Remember, they always start with that D note. And then we've got that E minor pentatonic that runs down through it. That's our song. Okay, there's not much more to it. A little bit of flashy stuff if you were performing it, but we've got enough now that we can say, yeah, I get the idea. I can hear the song in terms of at least its bass notes and a little fancy run at the end. So now we're going to make this sound even better. The way we sound even better is we're going to play some chords. Chords have names, they have certain fingerings, they can be located in many places. We're going to take the simplest approach we possibly can. And so the first chord that we want is a D chord, matching the D note. The fingering for that, you can see it on the chord chart. All we're doing is putting our first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, second finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and then we split the difference on the string in between, and we go to the 3rd fret. And we strum the 4 strings, bottom 4 strings. That's our D chord. Now we already know the song form. We know that following the D chord is an E chord. An E chord We can start with our idea of the D chord, take 2 fingers off, we keep our first finger on and just slide it back 1 fret, and our 2 other fingers are going to just come on to the second and the third string in the 2nd fret. So what's really great about this is we're always starting from the D chord, we're going to go to the E chord, the E chord follows right from it, and we're going to have now start to fill out the song so it sounds good. It sounds much richer now, doesn't it? So that's a really good thing. Now, if you're new to the guitar, these motions are going to take some time to practice. This is why it's 10 minutes a day for 10 days. It's not 10 minutes 10 times in one day. You need to sleep on this idea. You need to kind of get it built into your subconscious. And so we need to practice this a little bit every day. Okay? Very, very simple. Now, the D to E chord transition, that's some pretty big hand movements. It takes a while. The next chord we do is the A chord, so when D, E, D, E, then D, A. So D, and then the A, take our whole hand off, and we are going to just fill the 2nd fret, the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. And we strum the bottom 5 strings. Okay, so we want to be practicing going from D to an A. Okay, sounds good though. A lot more information there, a lot more interest there than just the A note. And so now we are most of the way through. We know there's only one more note left, and that's the B. So we can basically start putting our song into a little bit of a form. We take a little break. Do it again. Take another little break. And now we've got to the A. Now we know what we do next. We go back to the D chord. We just have to build in one more chord. Now the B chord is a fancy chord. It's truly a B7 chord. And the B7 chord, it's the fanciest chord we've got, and B chords are a little bit weird. They take a little bit of work. So if we just sort of think about the makeup of our chord, we want that first, okay, the B. We want that third, okay, so we didn't really talk about a third, but it's the second note of our chord. And then we want the 5th. Now this is a triad. When we do a 7th, we need another note. We need the 7th. So we could count that up on a scale, but instead we're just going to go by the idea of knowing that the B string, or sorry, the B note is on the 5th string. It's on the 2nd fret. Take my word for it at the moment. The 3rd is on the 3rd string in the 1st fret. So now we've got 2 of the notes that make up the chord. The last 2 notes a little hard to get to. One of them is going to be on the 3rd string 2nd fret and the 1st string 2nd fret. So it's a little hard to finger, so we got to practice this one a lot. And again, we strum the bottom or the lower 5 strings, so strings 1 to 5. In the song, we sort of recognize that the chord's a little bit hard to get to, so we make it a little bit fancier. What we often do is start actually on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and do a slide to the B, slide our 1st finger onto the 3rd string 1st fret so that we actually can make the chord, and we just pick it down. So we're not in a rush, we don't have to do anything hard, but we do recognize that is a little bit of a fancy chord and it's a little hard to do. So it's going to probably take the most time to make work. But now we just harmonized the notes that we were playing in the song form portion of our lesson, and we've now made it so that we can play the chords. So when we put the song together, that's the D to E. We have the D to A. And we have the D to B. We should be pretty happy with ourselves right now. This is a pretty intricate set of things to be doing. We're getting those sort of hand shapes working. Remember, now we're going to do that little rundown again, that E minor pentatonic. So we release our grip, we go to the first string. We can play that E again if we so desire. It gives a nice rich sound to it. That's our basic song. We took it from the song form. We were just learning the notes. It will stop just before the B. So we've made it much richer. We now have the chords. Now, this particular chord pattern is actually very important. You may have heard of the 12-bar blues, especially if you've been wandering around on the internet. Well, it's really common to play the chords E, A, and B as part of the 12-bar blues. It's almost one of the favorite starting points. So we're actually making way more progress than we think they are, but I don't want to take us too far too fast. I just want to sort of say any effort you're putting in right now, any struggles you're going through, they're going to pay off really big time by having this particular chord progression as opposed to some other ones. But we really have put together the song Rumble, at least the major parts of it. Say there's a few add-ons that you can do later to make it sound a little bit better, but we've got it all together. And if you work on this particular section of the information, say for 10 minutes a day, for 10 days, you're going to find this becomes a reflex. You will be able to do this quite naturally and easily. And once you can do it naturally and easily, if you can learn one song, you can learn another song. We just take the exact same approach. We learn the song form by following the note pattern of the song, job one, and then we fill in with a set of chords behind that to give us the richer harmony. And then the part we haven't touched on is the timing. Timing is the hardest part, at least for me, of working on the guitar, and it really does take us to that next step. But for right now, especially if you're brand new to putting guitar stuff together, you really want to focus on getting the idea of the song form and how to harmonize it with a set of chords so that you can actually start that process of moving your hands in all the right ways. And then what's really quite interesting is it's your right hand that actually takes the most work to get to do things. So we focus on our left hand at the start, and eventually when we switch over to start working on our right hand to make it work better. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you did it for this particular video, and I'd really love to hear from you as to how your 10 minutes a day for 10 days works. It doesn't even have to be 10 minutes a day sequentially. You can break that up as much as you like. But if you spend 10 minutes a day for 10 days, I think you're going to find Rumble becomes a very, very interesting piece for you to play, and you're going to be able to just pick up the guitar and make good things come out of it. It's going to sound just great. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.